why my quiet roommate suddenly stopped painting, and the real reason the neighbor's apartment stayed dark for a month. Living with Julian was like sharing a flat with a ghost who smelled of turpentine and expensive cigarettes. He was a struggling artist, or so he told me, spending 14 hours a day locked in his room working on a massive, hyper-realistic portrait of the city skyline. He was the perfect roommate. Quiet, always paid his rent in cash, and never invited people over. The only odd thing was his obsession with light. He would spend hours staring out the window, claiming he was studying the shadows of the apartment building directly across the street from us. Last Tuesday, Julian left his door ajar for the first time in 6 months. I walked in to return a borrowed book and saw the masterpiece on the easel. It wasn't a skyline. It was a series of incredibly detailed, voyeuristic sketches of the woman who lived in the unit opposite ours, a quiet librarian who had gone missing 3 weeks ago. The sketches were dated, showing her movements through her living room, her kitchen, and her bedroom. The final sketch, dated the night of her disappearance, showed her front door slightly open. Julian caught me standing there, his face turning a shade of gray I'd never seen before. He collapsed onto his bed, trembling, and confessed that he had become obsessed with her in a way that scared him. He claimed he had been watching her to protect her because he noticed shady characters hanging around her building. He said he saw her being taken by 2 men and was too paralyzed by fear to call the police. He told me he felt like a coward, and that his guilt was why he hadn't been able to finish the painting. I felt a wave of disgust, but also a strange pity. He seemed like a man broken by his own passivity. I told him we were going to the police station together, right then, to report what he saw so they could finally find her. As he stood up to grab his jacket, his eyes darted slightly to the left. The nervous tick. The tick wasn't the shame of a coward. It wasn't about missing a crime. Julian didn't see her being taken. He was the one who had entered that slightly open door. He wasn't studying shadows. He was timing the security rounds of the building. The sketches weren't a tribute. They were a log of her habits to ensure he wouldn't be interrupted. The nervous tick revealed his true focus. He wasn't looking at the door, but at the floorboards under the easel. Realizing I hadn't noticed the faint smell of bleach or the way the wood didn't quite line up where he had hidden the key to her apartment. And her phone, the night he watched her disappear. My husband, David, was the beloved executive director of Bright Futures, a local nonprofit dedicated to providing college scholarships to underprivileged high school students. He was a pillar of the community. My husband, David, was the beloved executive director of Bright Futures, a local nonprofit dedicated to providing college scholarships to underprivileged high school students. He was a pillar of the community.